This is the story of a boy named David. He lived with his mom and his dad and his 6 older brothers in a land far away called Israel. They were a very happy family. They laughed together and they danced together and they ate together. They were so happy because they loved each other so very, very much. One day, Jesse, David's dad, was not very happy. No, not happy at all. In fact, he was quite angry. You see, he had given the job of taking care of the family sheep to David's 6 older brothers, and they had not done their job at all. In fact, they had left the sheep all by themselves in the forest. Those boys had some splaining to do. So he called them in, and boy, oh boy, they sure were full of excuses. They were moaning and groaning. Some of them were even crying about how the sheep were stinky and noisy and they wouldn't even listen, and how scary the forest was with lions and bears. Oh me, oh my. Well, after his sons had left, Jesse started thinking about who would take care of the sheep. He didn't have any money to hire a professional, and then he remembered. Oh yes, the boy, David, his youngest son. Excellent, he thought. I have such good ideas, if I do say so myself. Meanwhile, deep in the forest, the sheep were all huddled in tight. Some were hiding behind trees or rocks. They were very frightened. Every day they hoped they would get someone to come and watch over them, to protect them, and help them find food to eat or water to drink. "Mama," said one little lamb to his mama, "do you think today is the day we will get our shepherd? I'm so afraid, and I'm so hungry, and I'm so thirsty, and I'm so sleepy. I'm afraid to sleep, Mama." "We're all afraid, little one. Try not to worry. Hopefully today we will get a shepherd." Because you see, every once in a while, when they least expected it, the sheep would hear these terrible roars. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, a lion would jump out and seize one of them for a tasty snack. Or a bear would come strolling through the forest, searching for something to munch on, namely one of them. It was so scary. In fact, the last 6 shepherds had run off like scaredy cats when nighttime came and they heard the terrible roars. So, where we last left Jesse, David's dad, he had gone to find his youngest son David to give him the good news that he had a new job. He would now be taking care of the family sheep. "Oh, there you are, David," he said. "I have some good news for you. I'm giving you a job. Your mother and I have decided that you are now old enough to take care of the family sheep. Okay, bye now. They are over there in the forest. Have a good time. I have to go." And before David could say anything, his father took off running. At first, David jumped up and down with happiness and joy. A job? Wow! He was finally going to be in charge of something, just like his older brothers. But wait, where was his father going? He had a lot of questions. "Come back, Father. Don't you have some instructions? How long am I supposed to take care of them?" Well, after a while, David got tired and he sat down to take a breath. He realized that he was going to have to find these sheep all by himself. Did his father say they were in the forest? I think he said that they were this way. Yes, I think I'll go this way and look for them. Well, David found the family sheep, and he took great care of them, and they loved him. He made sure that they had plenty to eat, and he even took them to where there was plenty of water to drink, and he was ever watchful over them. And the sheep felt very loved and very protected. Even at nighttime, David was ever watchful. All night long, David took care of the sheep to make sure that they were safe and protected. David even took them deep in the forest, where there was plenty of shade and good food to eat, and the sheep felt very much loved and protected. David even played his harp and sang for them. He was an excellent musician and loved to sing about how good God was. One of David's favorite songs was about how God was his refuge and strength and a very present help in trouble. And whatever time he was afraid, he could trust in God, because God protected him and the sheep all day and all night. David loved God with all his heart. He said, "God looks after me and I look after the sheep." So he wrote a song called "The Lord is My Shepherd." David did not just have a harp with him, but a slingshot as well. He would put a small round stone in it and then swing it round and round so very fast. And then he would loose the stone so that it would fly through the air. That little stone could hurt almost as much as a bullet. David would practice with his slingshot every day as he took care of his sheep until he could hit any target. Bullseye! Yay! One day that pesky lion came back. He saw that the sheep were back in the forest, and he saw that the new shepherd was but a wee little boy, not at all tall and strong like David's 6 older brothers. Well, that lion smiled to himself and thought, this is going to be a really easy snack today. So he gave a really big roar, thinking that he would make the little boy cry, and he leaped to grab a little lamb. But instead, boy oh boy, did he get a big surprise. The little boy did not act scared at all, not even a little bit. What in the world was that? The lion looked at the boy. He pulled out this weird-looking stick. He called it a slingshot, and then he started shouting something about God. You see, not only did David love God, but David trusted in God to protect him from everything. When David saw the lion, he picked up his slingshot and he shouted to the lion, "Hey, you stinky lion, you will not hurt me or my sheep, because my God will protect me. It is not by my might or by my strength, but by the power of the name of the Lord God Almighty." Well, David swung that slingshot, and that lion got so scared that he skedaddled right on out of there. But he couldn't run fast enough. Yikes, that slingshot got him. Well, the sheep started whooping and hollering. They were so happy. Well, guess what? The bear, who didn't know what from what, he thought that the sheep he heard were just scared. So, well, he came right on in, thinking he was going to get himself a tasty snack. Well, you can guess what happened to him. David took one look at him and said, "Hey, you stinky bear." Well, that bear was not your average bear. And when he saw what happened to the lion, he took off running. But he could not run fast enough. Swoosh! That slingshot was coming for him. And so that was the end of the bear and the lion. God helped David protect the sheep from these 2 scary, stinky creatures that had terrorized and frightened and ruined the sheep's day for so very, very long. And from then on, David and his sheep lived in peace for many, 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 many years, because David trusted in the Lord God Almighty, who gave him and the sheep peace and happiness deep in the forest and on the riverbanks and lots of food and water, and they never, ever went hungry again. And you, boys and girls, can be just like David. You can trust that God is your refuge and your strength and a very present help in trouble, and that whatever time you are afraid, you can trust in Him. All you have to do is ask God for help, and He will help you, and you won't ever have to be afraid. Well, we hope that you have enjoyed this true story about David, presented by Kids View from Shillington Assembly of God Church, and hope that you tune in next time for our next story.